In the following video, you will learn how you can manage documents within nscale by using the Cockpit Client. The Cockpit Client is one of 4 clients which can be used to interact with information stored in nscale. Other clients would be the Explorer client, which is deeply embedded into the Windows Explorer, the Office client, which is integrated into Microsoft Office, and the Web client, which can be used within a browser. While it is obviously really simple to use nscale like your average file system by creating a folder, uploading a document, or scanning it, the use of it becomes more obvious when taking a look at the nscale SD app. The SD app is like a small CRM system to manage your orders or your communication with customers. In here, information is stored using indexing information. To illustrate that, we are going to navigate to one of our customers. In here, we find information about this customer, which is usually imported from an ERP system or other application using JDBC, an SAP connection, or a CSV upload. In here, we can see all of our documents related to this customer. This is also the place where it might be most easy to understand the way how index information can be used to sort and organize your documents. In my case, I like to organize documents by going after the document type. So by simply dragging and dropping this field, I have now all the information sorted by document type. Another person might prefer by sorting it by the modification date. Obviously, by drag and drop, this is now available as a sorting option. Or a third person might prefer by sorting it by document and modification date. Drag and dropping it into the list will sort the data accordingly. By clicking on the small X, this sorting is removed. As we are currently speaking about indexing information, let's go back to our normal file system and upload a document. We have navigated to a folder and we want to upload a new document into the system. To do so, you can whether use drag and drop and simply drop the file into the nscale Cockpit Client, or in this case, we are going to click on New, select Document, navigate to our document, and have it uploaded into the system. Once a document is uploaded into the system will ask for indexing information. Like in my case, it will ask for maybe changing the name. If you're uploading it into an application managing customer relations, you might have to reference the customer, etc. In here, I want to point out that also nscale will help you with your GDPR compliance needs. For example, by making sure that a document is inhibited for GDPR deletion, or that it is referenced with a certain person where you have personal identifiable information within the system. Here, we are simply going to close this dialog because we don't want to change anything. Now that we have uploaded this contract, I want to point you to a few things you can do with documents within nscale. Here, we are going to look at versioning. So this document is the first version of this file. You can look at versioning by right-clicking it and going to the properties. Within the properties, you are currently seeing versions. There's only one version within this cabinet. We're closing it. Now we are going to click on the document, open, and we are going to edit this document. And since it is an RTF file, I can directly edit the document in here by adding another line. Now we are going to save it. What happened in the background is that a new version was added to the system. Since the properties dialog of this document is open, now you can see a lock. The document is locked from further editing by other users. There are also a few other icons which might be of interest. For example, this small CD icon, which will reference back to, for example, persistent storage for archival purposes, or that a document was deleted. Nscale knows of 2 deletion states. One is a logical deletion, which means it is simply no longer accessible as a file, and a physical deletion, which means it is completely removed from storage. Another thing which is of interest is this small icon, which is for notes. Let's consider that you are working on a document and you want to leave a note related to this document. You can add a note as additional information, and this information is now stored alongside with the original document. If you do so, this note is stored in here, as it would be, for example, if you are running a workflow on this document, these workflow steps will also be stored in here. If there is a note available for a document, this is also available in the view by adding this small ABC icon next to the document itself. Another thing which is of interest is the renditions. So for example, what would happen is that when you are storing a document as an RTF file for editing purposes, there is also a PDF-A file created for storage and for retrieval later on. Most tax authorities will require that a document is stored as a PDF-A file for compliancy reasons. We're going to close this dialog here. And as you can see, also the log is removed from the document itself. The next thing I want to point out is the reference function. Let's consider you have a system with many documents stored within. And we might have, in this case, meeting notes stored within the system. So there is a section for the sales team to take notes, to store information, but there's also a customer service team, which is using, for example, the SD app where the customer information is being stored. So to store a reference within your system, right-click on the document, click on New, click on Reference, select a customer, and click on OK. Now, instead of storing a copy of the file, it will create a reference within that folder. So if we go back to our Eisenkarl customer, we will now have basically a reference created linking back to our meeting notes. That will remove the need of creating redundant documents within your system. Another way of working with references is not just by using them within the nscale environment, but by also using them, for example, within emails. So what you can do is you can also create external links, for example, for using it as a cockpit reference. So what would happen is if you send this reference within an email, the document would open up from the nscale client and it would be opened in read mode, or you can also open it directly in edit mode if you want people to make changes to it. You can open up the referencing folder, etc. So this is another way how you can use references, for example, communicating with external parties. As your system will grow over time, it will also be required to search documents not just by your grouping functions, but also by a search bar. To do so, you can simply enter a term into your search bar, click on OK, and all the documents which relate to this term will be provided by the search function. Of course, within here, you can also use your grouping function to add additional information or sorting to your documents, especially if you're returning a large number of documents from your system. This is just a small overview about the capabilities of an nscale system. Obviously, much more is possible. However, in this short overview, I wanted to guide you through some of the key functions of an nscale client. These functions are also available in all the other clients of nscale. To summarize it again, I have showed you how to use indexing information to sort and group information, use versioning to collaborate on documents and understand how a document was created, creation of notes, creation of reference links, and how to perform a search within nscale. Thank you for watching.